Good morning, everyone. I hope we are having a wonderful morning. Welcome to the morning news and chat. Patty, Pippadot, Francie, good morning. Morning to you all. Hope we are having a wonderful morning. This morning, unlike the other streams, we are streaming directly on YouTube, not restream or any of the other ones, or streaming to any of the other platforms. Just YouTube. Apparently, my debit card expired last night at midnight, so I can't use Restream until I go in and put my new credit card number in, expiration date. I don't feel like using a credit card for it. So, Cement Shoes, good morning. Kevin Brand, good morning from South Carolina. Nice to see you again, Kevin. I hope you've been doing well. Zelda, all the way from Boring, Oregon. Give me the number and I'll put it in there. A nice man from India that will help me. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he will, Zelda. Mike Stevens, Allah Akbar. Good morning, Mike. Kelly P. Good morning. Purple, good morning again. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Yeah, but I didn't know the damn thing expired. I didn't get. I don't. I went back through my emails looking. Normally they send me an email that when my debit card's about to expire. I didn't. I didn't see one in my inbox. I may have deleted it by mistake, or it could have ended up in my junk folder. But either way, you know, I'll deal with it. Keep us in your prayers. We have fires all around us. Oh yeah, I've been keeping an eye on those, Zelda. That ain't good. How about the feeling that? How do you feel about King Charles? I like the meme that's out there. It's floating around on Instagram, and it's also on TikTok and Facebook. 73-year-old man finally gets a job. Um, when it comes to the monarchy, I don't really think about it at all, to be honest with you. Uh, do I think he should be king? I mean, it's not really my place to say. But tons of laundry. Is it tattoo Saturday where I am at? If you want to get a tattoo, purple, I guess you get a tattoo. Mike Stevens, do you love the royalty? I guess if there really is like a royalty here in America, wouldn't it be like the Kennedys? They'd be closest to royalty here in America. I mean, we've had a lot of rich and powerful families. Right now, the rich and powerful are people that you probably don't necessarily associate with having, the power that they do. We always hear about the billionaires, the Elon Musks, the Bill Gateses, and and so on, the Rupert Murdochs. But they are billionaires, and they definitely have power and influence. But they don't have the family structure, kind of like a monarchy, like the Kennedys would. Mike Stevens, I worship King Trump. Why? I mean, You can like the man and think he's a great political leader, but why would you worship him, Mike? Uh, but to each their own. If that's what you want to do you, Mike? Do you? Isn't Chad DeBell and Lori DeVallo the royalty of their own little worlds, Zelda? Of their own little worlds. They are the royalty in their own minds. Slow mode is on. Yeah, I tried turning that off. It's only supposed to be a 20-second delay. Let me see if I can change that from here again. Oh boy. It says at the top, slow mode is on, send a message every 20 seconds. Edit. There we go. Let's see if we can do it this way. Customization. Well, it's got to be in here somewhere. Hold inappropriate comments. Sort by top. This is not a nonprofit. It's not there. Allow chapters when finished. Yeah, I saw that when I started this morning, and I was like, how the heck do you turn that on or off? Public. Let's see if it's under customization. There we go. Slow mode is off. It should be off now. Yep. And the slow mode sign at the top went away. I hope that's better for everybody. Slow mode is off. Chat away is what it says. You should see that just above Francie's comment. Well, at least it shows on my side. Slow mode is off. Thank you for bringing that to my attention again. I appreciate that. Because I was trying to figure out how to turn that off this morning. Good morning, RJ. Welcome to this morning's chat. Janice, good morning. Sorry, you might see rings on my eyes. See them? Because of the ring light in front of me. But I can't read the comments without putting on my glasses. I'm like sitting here squinting, going, "What? Who's that?" Amy M. Good morning. I really following the Kylie Rodney case now. Kylie Rodney. I talked about this a little bit last night on the stream. And let's see. Breakdown of Kylie Rodney. I don't understand. I mean, obviously, there's an attraction to it. It's a tragic story. There's been a lot of speculation online about Kylie Rodney and what's real and what's not real within the case. But when you boil it down to it, a tragic accident. She left a party. She was on her way home. She somehow had an accident. Either she was drunk, high, whatever the cause, may have been. When she got behind the wheel of her car, she ended up in the lake. Because of the help, with Adventures with Purpose, they were able to find, the car. It was upside down in the water. They were able to pull the car out. She was in the car. I believe one window is down completely, and the driver's window is down partially. I'm just recalling because I love watching Adventures with Purpose. I think they do a hell of a job. And a lot of times they end up having to do jobs that law enforcement either doesn't do correctly or doesn't want to do, or somewhere in between those two. But they do a lot of good, and they help bring a lot of closure to families. But there's been a lot of speculation online that is completely drowned out everything from there. Her family now has closure. They now have Kylie back home, back with them. They've been able to lay her to rest, and they know what happened to her. She wasn't abducted and sold off into sex trafficking or something like that. So, there is that. My heart goes out to the family. It's always tragic, especially when, a parent must bury their child. Children are supposed to outlive their parents. But I don't really want to get into the conspiracy theories that are out there, but there are plentiful of different ones. Of people who are bringing up all kinds of false reporting about the entire situation, that another car or somebody else was involved, that it's not her, and it goes on and on and on. But it is definitely an interesting case. It's just there's not much that I can add to it. You think that there was foul play, Amy? What will we if there was foul play? You know, there's not a whole lot of evidence there to support that. There may be some, that could suggest that there was, but I don't know. Will we ever know? Well, you should watch the other streams to get another perspective. Amy, I watch enough of the content, and I try to stick with what can factually be supported. But please don't, take that the wrong way. And I deal in facts, and what I can document about a case. And you'll notice if you look at my channel, Amy, I haven't covered the Rodney case because there's very little out there that can factually be supported about the case. I could go down a rabbit hole and talk about the speculation and rumors and conspiracy theories, and that there may have been involvement, but I would be doing an injustice to myself and to you, the viewer, to ever do something like that. Again, if I can't document it, I don't cover it. So you won't see a Rodney, video pop up on my channel. I don't cover it. But I mean, if you believe that there is another perspective of it, great. That's for you to decide. That's for you to want to research and learn about. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying that I can't do it and I won't do it because I can't document it. There's nothing in the police reports. I've read the police reports, and if these things interest me, yeah, a lot of the cases that, and videos that, Adventures with Purpose and or another channel may cover, they interest me. But where is my perspective, and going to aid, in the story? Am I going to be able to bring forth information that's not already out there? So Will watches Duty Ron. I'm a huge supporter of Duty Ron. I believe that when I have if I had to put together like a top five of YouTube creators out there, I would put Duty Ron in definitely within that top five. He does he does a job and a service to people that do not appreciate enough what he's able to bring to the table. Not only life experience, training, but he's able to bring on professionals who can break down a case, and say, this is how the procedure works, how this is how the justice system works, this is how the bail and search or whatever the topic may be. He's able to bring on professionals, and he does it in a true and easy to understand manner. If you haven't checked out Duty Ron's YouTube channel, I highly suggest you do so. He does an awesome job. There is a shade worked out law enforcement on the Kyler Rodney case. The autopsy will tell more. Hmm. That's a when holding law enforcement responsible for not discovering her, not doing the job. That's a hard one to take. A lot of law enforcement agencies out there, they don't have the expertise. They let's just take for example my metropolitan area. We don't have a single person on any of the law enforcement, the cities that make up the metropolitan area. In case you're wondering how many people live in my area, we have twice as many population wise more than Seattle. I live in Washington State. We have more people who live here than in Seattle. Okay, Seattle might be the largest city in Washington State, but we have more people who live here. But we don't have a single person on any of the different cities police departments that is dive certified to actually go into a lake or a river to search for a missing person. We have a search and rescue team that is completely separate from law enforcement. They're not made up of law enforcement officials. They're not officers. They're not even retirees. They're kind of like they work outside of the law enforcement then, and their entire thing is to be you know um unbiased and say okay we'll search this area. But even with Adventures with Purpose, they've been to lakes in their and if you watch enough of their content, they've been to areas searched with sonar, and everything else, and then an update will come up later on that the person was actually found in that lake or that river. They miss things too. It happens. Now to hold the law enforcement responsible for not doing it, unless you can improve actual malice, who are you going to hold accountable? I mean, I'm sure that there are people out there, who are fans of it all and say, well, they should have done a better job. They should have done a search of all those lakes. Unless there's, evidence that was, around the actual events of her disappearance that showed tire tracks leading into the lake or, a reason to want to search that lake, or river or whatever it may be. Where's the malice in it? Good morning, Dawn Marie. How are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Will, what are your thoughts on the Vegas politician who murdered the reporter? Francie? Well, let's start with this. First off, I've seen the video of the politician getting out of the car with the lady he was having the affair with. Um, and to blame the reporter for making, what he called a smear campaign about him, that local politician, there was quite a few different things, that he was doing that were pretty sketchy besides the affair. Um, when it comes to him killing him, I don't know if he's guilty of it or not at this point. I'm going to, have to say that he's presumed innocent, but it's not looking good for him. to, in this entire case. And I know the other day that, or this past week, they served a search warrant on the home while he was there, and they searched the home, and then they took him away on a stretcher. I don't know what the reason for that was. I was kind of watching the live feed of it while it was going on, but overall, I think it's pretty messed up that anybody would get to that point where they feel that the only course of recourse, if they don't like what a reporter is saying about them, is to go to the point of killing them, in order to stop them from reporting on it. The politician made his own bed, right? He's the one who decided to have the affair. He is the one that had been questioned for on ethics, violations, not once but several times. He's the one who's morally bankrupt, and then to take it another step and kill the actual reporter, or allegedly, but what's the world we live in? It's wrong. It's wrong on so many different levels. Breakfast sounds so good. Since four this morning, I've been up since 2. Coffee and donuts, anyone? I've been up since 2. I haven't had a chance to have breakfast yet. No breakfast yet for me. I will after this. My family is arriving right now, so I'm only going to be able to do this stream for about an hour this morning, because my family's coming over. Or most of them should be here in about a half an hour. Above the law? Well, we had a situation that came up here with our city council, where they violated certain rules for the school board. They decided to remove another member of the school board without a vote of the public or notifying the public. Then they started holding closed door meetings, and then they put things out to bid, but they only told their friends and family who had businesses that they could bid on it. So we had a recall election, and all 3 of them got booted. But now they're refusing to leave because they're as a representative or something like that of these people that they put these illegal bids out to, who actually got the contracts. And it's just a whirlwind. It just keeps on going. I could have my wife in here. She could tell a whole lot more about the entire thing. They did some pretty messed up things, and they thought they could get away with it. And so your politicians who think they're above the law, yeah, yeah, and they're so insulated in a lot of different ways away from criminal prosecution. In this case, with putting the bids out to only family and friends, that it's an ethics violation of the school board, but criminally, there's no criminal statute against what they did, because they put it out and they said, okay, well, this friend, this friend, this friend, this associate, oh, your husband works for this company, we'll get them to come in. So it was a closed bid only amongst people that they wanted to win, but it was still an open bid. I mean, a closed bid for the contracts, and they did it, and it didn't violate the law, because the law was written in such a way that only if they would have given the contract directly to one individual and not put it out for a bid, then it would have been against the law. But since they put it as a closed bid amongst only friends, it doesn't technically break the law, but it's an ethics violation that could remove them. And they all did. They all lost their reelection. We had a special election that removed them all. But they definitely thought they were above the law. In a lot of ways, you definitely see that in politics. The days of Mr. Smith goes to Washington, and makes good on his promises. Those days are long gone. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm neither. I'm somewhere in between it all. I vote for the person I believe who will do the best job, and who actually, do the job correctly. So that's just me. I know it's kind of stupid, right? Why would I want to vote for the person who I think will do the best job? I should just vote straight down party lines, and say, let's put all of those people in power. All that does is just feed the machine. And then they tell you that the other party sucks, and this party tells you this party sucks, and you never get anywhere. Because that one party will try to block the other party and stop them from making any kind of progress. Because they'll tout it as, we did this for you, we did this for you, we did this for you, and I'm stuck in the middle. You're stuck in the middle. Hey, Will, how did your wife like the axe throwing? It's not a restaurant. It's kind of like a pub, an event center. The place we went, they have laser tag, axe throwing, knife throwing. They have foosball. Think of it as kind of like an adult version of Dave and Buster's, if you know what Dave and Buster's is. But they have a whole bunch of different things within the place we went to. So how did she like it? We played two games where we actually threw the axes, and then after that we went to hatchets, which are just as much equally hard to throw because I mean, when are you ever going to practice something like that, right? But we had fun. The other night we went and did glass blowing. So we went early because I had the live stream yesterday at 6. So we went and did glass art, basically, because they had 5 different areas you could pick a different project to actually do. So I did kind of like I don't know what you call it, a mosaic of glass beads and chips, and then you make it on a glass plane, and then they take another one and they put it over the top of it, and then they put it in the kiln so it all melts together. So your work is actually in the middle, and there's like a plastic film in there as well, so it's not like when it shatters. If it was to fall, it breaks into a million pieces. It's kind of like window glass in your car. In window glass in your car, there is glass, there's a plastic layer, and then there's glass. And that plastic layer is what stops glass from shattering into a million pieces, like giant shards that'll rip your neck apart in a car accident. Safety glass. But it was fun. This is something that we've been doing for a while now, and we really enjoy it. It gives us an opportunity to get away from our day-to-day lives, the stresses of working, and because we're just two ships passing in the wind. I get to see her in the morning, normally Monday through Friday, for maybe an hour before she goes to work. And then when she comes home, we get to see each other for maybe a half hour before I have to come in here and I have to finish up work. So this gives us a way to, ground ourselves and, catch up with each other and, enjoy, life. Life moves pretty fast, as Ferris Bueller would say. You need to slow down and take a look at it once in a while. Otherwise, you could miss it. Morning, Rycart. In case I missed you earlier, just joining in. I'm afraid I'd hurt someone. It's actually not that unsafe at all, Pippadot. Um, the area, there's like a stall. It's about as wide as a bowling alley lane, with the gutters, and the actual plane where you actually roll the ball. So it's pretty narrow. And they have like chain link and wood, so that separates them. So even if you throw it and it bounces off of it, it's never going to get to an area where it would hurt somebody else, and it's never going to be able to bounce back to the point where it would actually hurt you because everything else, if it's not chain link or wood, it's rubber. So if it bounces off the board and hits the floor, that absorbs the actual impact almost immediately, and it just falls, right there. So it may come off the board, 5 feet, and then it'll stop, 6 feet from the total board, and you're at 12 feet. And they have other safety rules like, excuse me, only one person in the area where you throw, just like bowling. You don't go up two individuals at once and one person rolls the ball. You have a lane, and where you actually walk up and do it. So, and there's a safety barrier, and then there's everybody waits behind that actual safety barrier. It's actually not that much of a chance to actually hurt yourself, other than the repetitive motion of throwing something like that. And the place we went, when it comes not the axes but the hatchets, they have different weights of different hatchets, and it's clearly marked right in the actual metal of the hatchet head. So there's like a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, down. I think 2 was the lowest one. But they're different weights, so you don't have to like pick up something really giant and heavy and to throw it repeatedly. It's actually pretty fun, and overall the safety is pretty good. At least this is the place that I've been. Um, I have throwing knives. The same place that we went to, Patty. They have Chinese stars, and then they have knife throwing. But we could have done that, but we never did. Um, we kept on joking around. Well, we should try the throwing stars, but we never got into it. But we might go back again sometime and do it. How are the little kittens? All adopted? Francie, they all have homes. Um, yes, they've all been adopted. They have homes when they're ready, and when the kittens are ready to leave, they're we have homes for them. One lady, a close family friend, she's taking two of the girls. But before they leave, they have to be old enough, and we want to make sure that they get their first series of shots. And then each kitten that we're adopting out, we're prepaying at a local vet clinic to have them either spayed or neutered. So there's only one boy in the group, but of the four, but we're paying for that just because we brought in a mommy cat who was obviously already pregnant. Doesn't mean that we need to keep on expanding the cat population out there. But they're not anywhere near right now. They're still nursing with mommy, even though mommy cat doesn't want them to, but but they're doing fine. I just posted a picture on the community tab. I've been meaning to post that for a while. I mean that I can't remember when I took that picture. Probably 2 weeks ago, something like that. 3 weeks ago. They were a lot bigger than they are in that, but not a whole lot. I mean, they're a lot bigger. Will, that's so kind of you. Well, thank you, Francie. It's just we're responsible pet owners. Well, at least we try to be. Good morning, Miss Sunshine from Germany. I've been to Germany once, and it was to Ramstein. One time when I was in the service. No, I was not in the hospital there, but the one and only time I've ever been there. Where did you post a picture? Well, Patty, it's on my community tab here on YouTube. So you bring up my YouTube channel. There's a community tab where I talk to and share videos, post polls, interact with the subscribers and viewers. Speaking of, what do you guys think of the blonde internet model who stabbed boy? Oh, the OnlyFan. She are fans only or OnlyFan. I can't remember which way it is. My wife's always correcting me. But the OnlyFans who killed her. Yeah, killed her and stabbed her boyfriend. She says she was it was self defense. She's going to get convicted. Jean, yeah, it doesn't look good for her, especially in her story. She flip flopped a lot about what actually happened in that case. Love your taco podcast YouTube channel. Also, well, thank you, Rykart. Appreciate it. The video, the YouTube short of my wife the other day went. I mean, that was by far the most successful YouTube short video I've ever put up on any of my channels. I think it's close to like 8,000 people watched my daughter trying to throw blueberries into my wife's mouth. I don't that I actually shot a YouTube short for the podcast for the Taco Podcast channel, but when I went to go upload it to YouTube, the video after I went through and I edited was corrupted. And I was like, I got less than a half an hour to reshoot, edit this. So I'm like, I'm just going to do like a YouTube short directly from my cell phone. The OnlyFans, yeah, she is a little nuts. That's for sure. See it later today. Man, there are crazy people out there. You never know what they're going to do. What's with all the crazy people killing other people? Unbelievable. Right, Patty? Excuse me. Yeah. But, people have been, since the modernization of, society, industrial revolution is when we basically saw a huge spike, in murders. But there were murders before then. But now in today's society, it just seems like it happens a lot more. Will, what do you think of the woman who went jogging at 4 a.m. in Memphis is partly responsible for her own murder? Francie, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that she is responsible at all. She should be safe within her own community. And if she goes jogging at 4 o'clock in the morning because she has a busy life and she has what, twins on top of work and everything else, and she was preparing for the Boston Marathon, she should be safe in her own community. To actually place blame upon her for jogging at that hour, or even being out there jogging in the afternoon, or whenever it might have been, to place blame upon the victim, I feel is wrong, in so many different ways. She should be safe in her own community. How is it her fault? Or that's like saying that lady got raped and got murdered because of the way she was dressed. How is it her fault that this happened to her? The perpetrator who actually committed the act is the only one who should be, held responsible, and the blame should be placed upon them. If somebody is out jogging at 4 o'clock in the morning within their own community, it was like she flew across the country and then went to a bad neighborhood and went jogging there. She was jogging in an area she's jogged, countless times before in her own community, and she should be safe there. She should be safe anywhere, even if it wasn't her community. She should be safe. Yeah, I've seen the comments and I've watched some of the videos people have put out about it, and it's really disheartening that a lot of people think that that there is any blame for her at all. She didn't put the kidnapper there. Hell, the justice system just kind of had a revolving door with this guy. And I think he was out on bond at the same time, anyways, for another crime. But it's insane to actually look at someone and say, you know what? You're responsible for being there. And if you weren't out doing and living your life, you wouldn't have gotten murdered. You wouldn't have been raped if you weren't wearing such a cute blouse. That's I know how do people get to that point where they actually blame someone for something like that? It blows my mind that we would ever do something like that to a victim. And likewise, I mean, if you think this is new, go back and look at the Christopher Watts case, and him murdering his daughters and his wife, and how many people blamed Shanann because she spent all that money on clothing and she had all those nice things, and here they are living in debt. I mean, well over 60% of all Americans live above their means. Does that mean it gives 60% of husbands in America the right to murder their families and dump them into oil tanks and bury them in shallow graves because they all live amongst their means, but not looking at and placing blame upon the actual perpetrator, Chris Watts, for what he did? It's insane that we would blame a victim for a crime. I mean, well, if maybe he killed her because she beat him to death, or she assaulted him and he just responded back before she could kill him. Maybe there's a little bit of blame that way, but there wasn't in that case. There wasn't in the case of the jogger, and there isn't. It isn't the case in so many others out there. I know I'm probably not, talking about the most popular, opinion on these things, but it's just never going to make sense to me. I try to, to see, it through a clear lens, but when people start blaming a victim and saying it's your fault for being out there jogging at 4 a.m., Shanann, it's your fault because you spent, and you bought nice things in this world. Well, let's put aside the fact that you never would have gotten this home. You never would have had any of the belongings in the home if it wasn't for the fact that you worked your ass off, bought your own home before the marriage, and by yourself, with no help from any man. You sold that home for a profit. You then helped relocate and pay off the debts of your new husband and to relocate to an area. Yeah, it's your fault because you had nice handbags. Oh, you bought them at Ross and at Kohl's, at discount, clothing stores. It doesn't matter. I saw the video of the police doing the walkthrough. You had a closet full of clothes. Therefore, it's your fault for being murdered. I'll never understand it. It's people are looking at things the wrong way. Dee Dee Parks, good morning. Welcome to the stream, Dee Dee. Not letting violent people out of prison, Patty, is a great idea. Used to live in Memphis. It's very safe. I've been to Memphis quite a few times, Mike. I've never lived there, but there are good and bad areas to just about every metropolitan area. People like to say, "Oh, I live in a great family community." That's very safe to be out, doing whatever you want to do. Yeah. They're good and bad people. I mean, I live in a gated community where I live. I don't trust the a-hole who lives across the street from me. There's just something about the guy, and every neighbor around me, we're all creeped out about this guy. But he has the right to be there. He keeps to himself. We've never had any real issues with him, except for, you know, he does sometimes like to scream, and get carried away at stupid things. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's not the one who's going to snap. Maybe it's my neighbor next to me, Richard, next to me, who's going to snap, and he's going to run down the street with an AR 15 and start gunning everybody down. I don't know. A lot of times it's the ones that are the quietest ones that are the ones you have to worry about. Good morning, Tina. Jamie Lee, good morning. And welcome to the stream, Jamie Lee. Sharon. Good morning. Will they blame the child for child pornography? Do they? That's sick. That is absolutely disgusting. This conversation about blaming the victim is disgusting. Well, Gene, it happens though. And I see it all the time, and I really do. I in a daily basis as I'm researching new cases, and and it's not just on the internet, on YouTube in the comment section. I've seen it, in the reporting of the news from major news outlets about, and they'll do a story about, a victim who was murdered, and their body was found in a park or something, or found dropped in a ditch. And all they did was they were working the AM PM, closing shift at excuse me, that's a convenience store, in case you're wondering what AM PM is. And they're like, and they'll start speculating right there in the news story. If she wouldn't have transferred to the evening shift, she probably would have been safe. Well, why wasn't she safe anyways? Why do you have to even bring that up? That she's working, she worked a night shift. Everybody has to work. We have to need money to pay bills to be safe. At least that's the way it's supposed to work. To eat and survive. If victim shamers were ever the victim, they would change their opinion. You would hope so. You would hope so. But there are people who, especially on YouTube and on other social media platforms, particularly a lot more on Facebook Live, on certain creators on who do Facebook Live only. And if you read about some of their backgrounds, um, you really wonder where society is going. You really would, because they have no holds bar on Facebook Live. Facebook Live is like the wild wild west. Yeah, very little does Facebook Live want to get involved with. It's like, oh, we'll offer you live streaming. You can live stream over here. You can if you get to a certain amount, you can monetize your content too. I've seen some of the sickest people on there who are streaming, and then they come onto YouTube and they're just the most docile, calm individuals on YouTube because they know they have to play within the program. I've had two different intruders break in my windows twice, both times to be dead with no weapon. No idea who they were. Oh, that's sick. Good morning, Broken Justice. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream this morning. I hope you are doing well. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Broken Justice. I hope you're doing much better. Always alert and scared. You should never be scared in your own home. Sorry, really sorry that happened to you, Pippadot. Truly sorry that ever happened. Hope it never happens again. I remember when I was living in downtown Minneapolis, and me and two of our friends had we had like a flat. It was kind of like it was near the warehouse district, about 2 blocks from the art museum. downtown Minneapolis, and so it's kind of an industrial area. And we came home one day, and somebody had broken into our apartment and ransacked it, and and they stole televisions and anything that they could probably sell. Probably some dopehead who did it, but just the feeling of being violated, you never get past that. Somebody who was there going through your stuff who didn't belong. You never forget it. Well, my daughter's neighbor beat and shot her dog for wandering into his yard. It was horrible. I helped her move away. I'm sorry that happened to your daughter, but thank you for helping her move away from that. Unfortunately, in a lot of areas, and I'm not sure if that is the same where your daughter lived, Gene. A lot of areas look at pets as property. They don't even look at the emotional connection, that it's a family member to whoever. They look at an animal as cat, a dog, or guinea pig, or whatever it might be. They look at it as property. So it would be a destruction of property, a misdemeanor at the most. At least, in a lot of areas, it's not in every area. Some states have kind of changed the laws to make the pets are more than just an animal you own. But I'm glad she got away from the situation. Pets are family as well. Every one of my pets are family. We don't have any dogs anymore, but we got cats. We didn't want cats, but we got cats. Well, I was robbed at a graveyard in Galveston. Like literally, you were at a graveyard and got robbed. I'm sorry. Just that crazy folks out there stole my dog and I got her back, but it traumatized us. In Virginia, someone broke into my house and woke up as they were taking the covers off me. I grabbed my nightstick and behind the head of the bed and started beating the guy. Good for you, Purple. Bet they'll think twice about doing that again. In in a graveyard. Wow. Nine times out of ten, when I'm in a graveyard, doing a story, I never see anybody. And most of the graveyards that I've been to, um, I might find a dozen graves that have fresh flowers or fake flowers on them. Almost never, do I see people, actually visiting, their loved ones anymore. I don't know if they're doing it virtually or they just don't care if they're too busy. Every time I go home, that's one of the first things I do is I always stop by my dad's grave and the rest of my family. Stop by and see them all. Stardust Shorty, good morning and welcome to the stream. I also had an attempted robbery on me in a graveyard. I got away, but he ripped my purse and a chunk of my hair out. Oh shit! Sorry that happened. That's had to be traumatizing. But again, I never see anybody in the graveyards. I run into more people who work in graveyards as attendants, landscapers, than I do, actually people they're visiting their loved ones. Now, I should say, when it comes to younger children who pass away, those graves, and headstones, I see a lot more flowers and trinkets and stuff like that that are left for, children than I do for, adults. Um, it's like one of the graves I was looking for recently. The individual died in 1887, and when I was doing the research, there isn't anybody left in his family. That everybody has passed since 1887 when this individual died. So I stopped by, left some flowers on the grave. Health has been poor lately. Lost both parents earlier this year. Worst year of your life, 2022. Well, cement shoes. I hope that your year, 2023 is much better. Gravestone and bash the window out of my car. Wow. Hello, Stardust. No, I think I said hello, but I just want to make sure that I didn't miss you. Through so much these past few years. I feel really sorry. Nothing has been easy for you. Well, I'm glad Cement Shoes is still with us, and I really do hope that 2023 is a lot better. No, God no, Cement Shoe, you're not burning anyone out or bumming everyone out. Well, we all have our ups and downs, and I know it's been hard. Definitely hard for you to lose both your parents this past year. We all um, enjoy the successes we have in life together. And we at the same time, we commiserate to get with together. Through our shortfalls and the tragedies that come upon us. I don't think you're going to find any place else, online that is more accepting and understanding, to what has happened to you this past year than here. Don't want to turn into a self support system for complaints. Nah, you're good. You're good, cement shoes. I get to see your great grandson again tomorrow morning, and my great granddaughter. That's a positive. I'm in Dallas, Texas, right now visiting. Well, that's good, Purple. Great grandchildren. Wow. I think the only way I'm ever going to get grandchildren is if my son has them. My daughter has zero interest in ever having children. She's too focused right now on her career and doing everything else that her and her boyfriend, they have career goals that they're trying to accomplish. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Pippadot's brother lives in Dallas. Life is a test. It's the afterlife is what matters. It's a good way to look at it, Rykart. Good way to look at it. I want to do a tattoo of the date I became a mother and a date I became a grandmother and the date I became a great grandmother. There you go. That sounds like a cool tattoo idea. Thank you, Jesus. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm going to have to wrap this up for the day. I hope that everyone has a wonderful day today and you stay safe out there. Have a terrific week ahead. I will have a video tomorrow, hopefully. All depends on YouTube if they decide to unage gate the two videos that I did the 29th and 30th of last month. If not, maybe I'll shoot something else today or tomorrow to put up. But I do have to take off. I do have my family arriving here at the house right now. What do you think about Colby Ryan's domestic violence and rape charges dropped? Gene, I'll tell you really quickly about Colby Ryan. The charges against Colby were dropped without prejudice, which means that they can refile the charges at any time. And I would, if I was a betting man, I would say that hold on, keep your ear to the the news channel because I feel that the new charges will be filed against Colby Ryan before Friday of this coming week. I don't see how, unless they can prove there's something that they're not talking about, in a case, and maybe there is, but I really think that they drop these charges to, then file enhanced charges against him. Now, I could be completely wrong. Um, from the audio recording, the transcript, and everything else that I know about the case so far, and he's 1/6 son of a. You enter your own word there. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for being here this morning with me. I hope you all have a terrific week and weekend, ahead, and stay safe out there. Until next time.